back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll focus on how we can create the Agentforce service agent and how we can leverage the Agentforce data library within those agents. Before moving on to the Agentforce data library, firstly we need to understand what is the RAG. So if we talk about the RAG within the Salesforce context, so RAG is the retrieval augmented generation, which is a part of Data Cloud as a framework for grounding the large language models. By augmenting the prompts with accurate, current, and pertinent information, the RAG improves the relevance and value of the LLM responses for the users. You can consider the RAG as two parts of the preparation. One is the offline preparation and one is the online usage. So if we talk about the offline preparation there, the offline preparation is basically responsible to load the data within the data cloud and do the vectorization chunking mechanism all together within the data cloud. And then once the data is set up there, you can leverage the same data and use that into your LLM prompts. So with that, so if you see here, so we have the two parts there. One is the offline preparation part and one is the online usage. So what's there? We need to firstly load the data within the Agentforce data library that goes through a series of the processes at the backend of the data cloud, where it goes through the vectorization, does the chunking and the indexing. Once everything is done, we have set up the offline preparation there so that the data is available to use within the agents. Now comes the Agentforce on. Now comes the RAG online usage. What happens within the online usage? We have the retrievers available to use those, and within those retrievers, we would be kind of leveraging the retrievers within the agent so that whenever we are creating the prompts, those prompts will then be leveraging the retrievers to retrieve the chunks back from the offline preparation that we have already done, and then it will go through all those processes of these chunking, giving back to the LLM. The LLM will process the chunks and will give you the finalized output. So that you can consider it as the online usage. Now, as we have understood what is RAG, so we can come up to the architectural diagram of how this could actually look like when we set it up for the Agentforce data library. So as you see here, so when you are seeing here, you can see we have to create firstly the data library. The data library has a couple of other options as well within this, whether you can go with the knowledge base or the file upload, or now we have also the web search as well. So accordingly, whenever you kind of create a data library with, let's say, the file upload, where you will uploading the file, it goes through all those processes of creating the UDLO or UDMO within the data cloud, the search indexes, the retrievers, and then the prompt template will be created within the Salesforce interface, and the prompt template will kind of be using those retrievers to get the chunks back from the data clouds, where you have created the UDMO, UDLO, and then the chunks and the search indexes. And that chunks will then be processed by the prompt template and will give you an output which will send back to the agent. Let's come to the data cloud setup part, how we can do it, and the Agentforce data library setup. So for that, firstly, we need to be making sure that we are actually using the developer edition org, which has Agentforce plus data cloud enabled within it. Now with that, so you have this Agentforce Developer Edition now, which comes out with the free Agentforce the Data Cloud instances attached to it. Once you sign up for this, you will be given a Salesforce Developer Edition org, where you can go through the series of the settings so that you can enable the Agentforce data libraries plus the prompt builders and the data clouds there. The first thing for that, you need to be making sure that within your org that you have recently provisioned, so you need to go to the Einstein setup and you need to be making sure that this toggle is turned on for turn on Einstein. Once this is done, you can go to the agents tab, and within the Agentforce agent, you need to be making sure that you have enabled this checkbox as well. Then you can also enable this as well if you want to leverage the employee type of agent. Otherwise, you can also go through and create a new agent, which it may be a kind of service agent or some other type of agent, so that you can create your own agent and you can kind of leverage those agents outside the Salesforce as well. For example, maybe your own third-party applications or wherever you want to host the agent, you can do that as well. Just for the sake of implementation purpose, if you will click on this new, you will see the different templates available there, and you can choose among one of them. So let's say I'm going ahead with Agent for Service Agent. You can click on this and go on to next and provide certain information that you will be presented here. You may or may not be requiring all these topics, so you can just unselect them, everything. And once this is done, you can kind of add the topics based on your need of that agent. So you can go to the next, and then you can customize your agent. Here you can provide some descriptions, roles, and whatever you want to do. And then the agent user, which is responsible to run this user in the context of the agent. And then once this is all done, you can go to the data source, which is not mandatory, but it's an optional. And then you can click on save. I already have built one agent for service agent for our use case of this demo purpose. And before moving into this Agentforce use case, so there is one more thing. If you go to the data library, within this Agentforce data library, you can create a new library there. Once you create a new library, it will give you an option to choose what data source you want to type in there or you want to embed in this data library. Right now, I have selected for the files type, but there are some other options as well which you can choose from. Let me give you a quick overview of that. How it does look like. For example, let's say I go with demo library and simply I can click on save. So what happens with this? You'll see the different data types that are supported here. So you can now go with knowledge, which is the Salesforce knowledge, the files where you can upload the files, web, you can go with the web content, which is publicly available content, and then the custom retrievers as well, where you can kind of use the custom retrievers if you have created within the data cloud. I'm going back. So once you upload the file there within the data library, then the status will change from in progress to ready. And once it is ready, that means you are able to use the data library within your Agentforce service agents. Okay. So now if I go back to the data cloud and how it is set up, again, you can click on the gear icon at the top and you can go to the data cloud setup. Once you do this, you will be seeing that for the very first time, if you do not have this data cloud setup, you might be seeing a button like get started. So you can just click on that. And after some time, you will see your home or connection details are present there. That means your data cloud is ready to be used. With this data cloud also up and running, and when you upload this agent for data library, the point here to note is the data cloud must be set up first before using the Agentforce data library. So once that is done, what happens in the backend? The Salesforce does create an entry into the AI grounding file ref home, and you will see the file is ingested there. So that comes into the data stream and corresponding to the data lake object. So if you will see, you will have certain other DMOs there. For example, this AI grounding file ref, it does also have the ref file UDMO and the corresponding search indexes and the chunks. So these DMOs will also be having the records that you have ingested in the data library. So this rag file DMO will be exactly the same document. And then as part of the chunking mechanism, how does the chunking happens? So for that, you can navigate back to the search indexes there. And within the search index, you will see file UDMO SI. And in this, you will see the index data model and the chunks data model. So with these two indexing and the chunks data model, you will be able to find those chunks and the indexes available. The other point to note here is you must be making sure before using the before using the data library into your Agentforce service agent that the status of this search index last run status should be into the ready state. There might be a scenario that once you upload a file within your data library, that file may not be coming up straight away because it's a backend process. It might take a time as well. So just to expedite the process, what you could also do, you can come back to the data stream and go to the far right. And with that, you will see an option of refresh now. As soon you will click on this refresh now, the status will go on to pending, and after some time, the status will turn to success. That means your file is now ready to be used in the data cloud through the RAG mechanism. So this is all about the offline preparation of uh, the file that we are trying to use for the RAG mechanism. Similarly, once you are done with that refresh now, the manual refresh now, you can come back to the data lake object and you can see after selecting them, or maybe the specifics only. For example, we only need these 3 or 4, and you would be seeing that the status would, if you will click on the update status, then the status would be updated as well, along with the total records that have been processed so far. How you can actually verify the data has been ingested or not, you can come back to the data explorer and you can search for the data model in the drop down, and you can anytime click on any of the data model. For example, AI grounding files wrap, right? So if I come here, you will see the one file is ingested there. Where this file is coming from? So if I come back to the data library, so I have this fictional pizza FAQ. So here you will see I have one file ingested there. This file is actually present here. Similarly, you can also see for RAG file UDMO, which does have the same file structure, which is the unstructured data model. And after the search index is run and in ready state, you will also see the file UDMO chunks and the indexings as well. So right now you can see there are 3 chunks available. Corresponding to the 3 chunks, you will see the 3 indexing as well. Perfect. The thing how you can create this FAQ file for your demo purpose, you can anytime go to the Google Gemini and simply you can ask the Google Gemini to help you get some FAQ documents on any of your requirements or any of your fictional, this library there. So for my use case, I simply typed in a prompt that I need an FAQ document which I can surface to the Agentforce data library, and I'm using that. So you see, I have created this funny document there, and I have ingested this within the Agentforce data library. Cool. Coming back to the agents part. So as we saw, we are also creating a service agent that I have already created here, and I can simply go on and open and build there. Though you can use your own topics, you can create your own topic and the topic actions, but for the sake of the demo and how we can use the Agentforce data library within the Agentforce service agent, I have reused the existing or out of the box standard topic that has been given by Salesforce, which is general FAQ. If you go inside the general FAQ, you will see there is a topic action also attached with this. Now the point to note here is if you go to the data tab at the left, I have kind of selected the data library that I want to uh, give the reference of the data library that I want to use within this agent. This is what you can do here. You can simply go to the data tab and click on the data library that you want to present or you want to have it within your agent. Once this is done, there are some other options as well down where you will see the show resources. So it will give you the resources where the results has come once you ask any question to the agent. Coming back to the topic again and the topic configuration, fairly straightforward. Now let's see everything in action. So for example, let's say I can go ahead and ask what kind of feature do you offer, right? So I can come here, I can simply say, and I can ask what kind of pizzas do you offer? So what it does in the backend, it takes the user input and then it processes through the topics and does the classification and retrieves the result from the topic actions. You see everything what it is doing in the prompts in the in this middle pane, right? So you can see the user has prompted what kind of pizzas do you offer. It goes to the topic selection. It recognizes what topic has to be selected. It selected the topic. After the topic selection, it went through the relevant action to call. and it went to the relevant action. It called the action, and the action result is given into the output. This output is then processed by the agent, and then it's presented in the Agentforce conversation preview window. And down this, you see the sources it has come from. So this is the document that we have ingested, and just given you the link as well for that. I hope you have enjoyed watching this, how you can use the Agentforce data library within the Salesforce.